And then there is something just truly bizarre that happens in history.
Yeah.
When I read this to you guys, you're going to think this is like fairy tale made up stuff, but multiple historians and writers at the time attest. Some of them talk about earthquakes. Some of them talk about balls of fire coming up out of the earth and crazy stuff. They all attest to the fact that there was something that happened.
Yeah.
And that everybody was like, we are not going on that hill again. By the time of Constantine, Christians have grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And now a huge percentage of the population of the empire has become Christian. And the Christians have made huge changes in the empire. You know, the gladiatorial games have been stopped. Crucifixions have been stopped because, you know, the Christian worldview has taken hold, and ideas of human rights and dignity have come out of believing that human beings carry the image of God, and all that kind of stuff are percolating, and things are changing. And so he accepts Christianity, at least at a political level. Personally, who knows? And it's important to know that a big part of how Christianity was making gains was that the Christians were running around showing people what Jesus said in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, where, you know, this temple is going to be destroyed. Not one stone will be left on another. And he prophesied, or, you know, foretold the destruction of the temple. And so Christians would run around and be like, look, Jesus said this before, and there's no building there. We win, you know? And that was a part of their pitch. Mm-hmm. Well, so what happened is the next emperor is a guy known in history as Julian the Apostate. So Julian the Apostate is the last pagan emperor of Rome. So Constantine dies, he inherits the throne, and he wants to go back to good old-fashioned paganism. Like, he loves Zeus and Athena and all that kind of stuff. He loved, just being a pagan. That's what he wanted to be. He hated Christians. And so he decides to rebuild the temple, not because he loves God, not because he loves Jews, but because he really just wants to stick it to Christians. Mm-hmm. And since Christians were saying, like, look, Jesus, whatever, he wants to put the building back on the hill so he can say,
yeah, it's not true. Yeah.
Gotcha. You lose. And then there is something just truly bizarre that happens in history.
Yeah.
And when I read this to you guys, you're going to think this is like fairy tale made up stuff, but multiple historians and writers at the time attest. Now, there is some diversity in their attestation. Okay. Some of them talk about earthquakes. Some of them talk about balls of fire coming up out of the earth and crazy stuff. But they all attest to the fact that there was something that happened.
Yeah.
And that everybody was like, we are not going on that hill again. So what happened is he funded the reconstruction.
Yeah.
They gathered all the materials. They gathered the wood, the rocks, the stuff. They got workers together, everything ready to go to rebuild the temple. Okay. It's all there. It's on the hill. Here's all the money to pay all the workers. We're going to start the project. Ready, go. And I'm going to read you something. And I did not pull this off a religious source. I pulled this off of Fordham University's website, because I wanted to find a source that was secular, not Christian, so you would even believe this. And this is what it says. It says, when they had removed the ruins of the former buildings, they dug up the ground and cleared away its foundation. It is said that on the following day, when they were about to lay the first foundation, a great earthquake occurred, and by the violent agitation of the earth, the stones were thrown up from the depths, by which those of the Jews who were engaged in the work were wounded, as likewise those who were merely looking on. The houses and public porticos near the side of the temple, in which they had diverted themselves, were suddenly thrown down. Many were caught thereby. Some perished immediately. Others were found half dead and mutilated of hands or legs. Others were injured in parts of the body. So they start working on the foundations, and there's some sort of big violent earthquake event that kills lots of people, injures others. And so people are like, maybe God's not down with this.
Yeah.
But then others decide, no, it's just a thing. Let's finish. And it says, I skipped a couple paragraphs in the article from Fordham Press, but it says they proceeded to recommence the work, but all parties related that they had scarcely returned to the undertaking when fire burst suddenly from the foundation of the temple and consumed several of the workmen. Okay. Now that's a summary of
That's a
summary
It's a
of
secular.
It's a secular
historical-
university. Yeah, I'd say, and that's their summary of the ancient writers who are attesting to what happened.
Yeah.
So something happened
Yeah.
that shut down that reconstruction, and nobody would go up on that hill. They were like, no, we're done. We're out. We don't care what you're paying us. We don't care what. We are not building that building. And so that attempt at reconstruction is stopped. Okay? And again, fact check me on it. Go research it. You'll find out that that's real. Hey guys, if you like our content, please click like and subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. And then also go to thelandinthebible.com and subscribe for premium content. And that really helps us. It helps us generate more content. And also half of it goes to help us go overseas and help refugee kids is what we're really called to do.